All right, hey everyone. So, um, my name's Joshua J. Keller. I am the co-host of Cheap Seat Baseball, a weekly podcast that you can find on wherever you get your podcast. I mean, it's you know where to go for podcasts. We're available. Cheap Seat Baseball. Cheap Seat's one word. It's there. So, our 16th Actually, I should clarify. It's a podcast I do with a very great friend of mine, Tom, and you know, it's a baseball history podcast, but we also make jokes and have fun with it. Um, Now the 16th episode we made was on the 1998 Florida Marlins, and part of the reason I wanted to do that episode was because I kind of felt a kinship with what happened there. Now, in 1997, the Florida Marlins won the World Series. They were a good team, and everyone on that team, as well as all of the fans in Miami and Florida at large, and even across the country, and I'm guessing they had some national fans, had the reasonable expectation that the defending world champions would, you know, would be contenders for a few years. I mean, it was a really good team. I mean, between superstars like Kevin Brown and Gary Sheffield and Charles Johnson and a whole host of people, it was a reasonable expectation that you know if not a dynasty, at least like a 2 out of 3 team, maybe even a two-peat. But immediately after winning the 1997 championship, Marlins owner Wayne Huizenga just started selling off players. It it was a massive fire sale. He dismantled the team that got him a championship. And I think part of the reason why I wanted to do that episode was because I got married and it felt like winning the World Series, and I thought that this was going to be a dynasty. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, with no real warning, it was all over. All over. And as a result, not from the dissolution of my marriage, but from Wayne Huizenga's actions, um, the Florida Marlins went from winning the World Series to being the worst team in the National League. They were the first team to ever go from first to worst. It was bad. It was bad. And you know, a lot of people will look at something like that and just go like, "Oh well, Wayne Huizenga was an asshole. This is an isolated event." And I'm sorry, but I'm here to tell you, no, that wasn't an isolated event. Wayne Huizenga, sure, is a piece of shit, but Honestly, he's no different than any other owner. All of them, end of the day, only care about the fucking profit margins. And that is why we're sitting at where we are sitting today. You see, the owners want you to believe that the players are a bunch of selfish, entitled pretty boys. And that's simply not the case because the owners are the selfish, entitled pretty boys, only they're not pretty because they're like fucking old and like wrinkly and look like ball sacks. That aside, don't believe the hype, don't believe the propaganda. When it comes to Major League Baseball, for the first. Okay, in the next month, we have like a multi-part series coming out on the history of labor in baseball that like really delves into it. This is the TLDR. Um, Up until 1968, every Major League Baseball player was treated like a fucking indentured servant. They basically had no rights, and the common line amongst the olders was, well, you should just be happy that you get to do this for a career. And I get that sentiment because there's so many of us, myself included, who love the idea of just being able to say it's like, well, shit, I wish I could play baseball. I wish I could make, 100 grand more than I'm making right now, or whatever amount. But what the owners are doing with that is pure manipulation. They are trying to get people to turn against the players when, here's the long and short of it. The players are always asking for something reasonable or trying to keep something reasonable. And the owners are always trying to turn back the tide. They're always trying to make it more feudal, more fucking indentured servitude. And no, it's bullshit. The owners are always the fucking bad guy. You want proof of that? Look at Wayne Huizinga. Look at fucking George Steinbrenner. So on and so forth. Marsh Scott. The owners are not ever in the right. And if you find yourself siding with them, that means one of two things. Either A, you're fucking rich and you do not value labor and the working class, or B, you're just kind of stupid. And I'm sorry. That's incredibly harsh of me to say. And I'm sure you have lots of great values, absolutely. But if you think that billionaires are actually paragons of virtue, you're fucking stupid. Like, I met a rock the other day that I probably think is less stupid than you are. Jesus Christ. I I I'm sorry. I don't want to be mean like that. I really don't. I don't understand how anyone can ever think that billionaires are virtuous people, because they're not. There's not a single billionaire on the face of the fucking planet that hasn't made their billions by exploiting workers. That's how people get rich. You can't get rich without exploiting people. That's the long and short of it. This dates all the way back to like the fucking Dutch East India Company, if not further, well, definitely further, because before that, you just said, hey, I'm the fucking owner of everything, and all of you just do everything for me. People who hoard resources are inherently evil. I'm sorry, that's true. Just fucking deal with it. And even the best baseball owner, let's say Bill Veeck. Bill Veeck was, for an owner, a pretty fucking cool dude. But even the best baseball owner is still fucking exploiting people for profit. It's true. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. As in, just fucking look into it. It's actually not that hard to find information if you're willing to look outside of your own biased viewpoint. I'm just saying. Or maybe I'm just too into it. Maybe I'm just too into it. But Chief Seat Baseball, we do have a couple episodes coming up on the history of labor relations in baseball, and I think they're pretty interesting, and I would like people to check them out. So if anyone ends up watching this video and you don't already listen to the podcast, I don't know, check it out. Yeah. I don't even know why I'm doing this, to be completely honest. I guess I just had some feels I want to emote. All right. Peace out, y'all. Have a great night. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully we get some baseball this year. I'm hoping. I'm less optimistic than when this lockout started, but I don't know. Hopefully we can get a new CBA and make this happen. Don't have high hopes because, again, I think every owner's a fucking self-entitled shithead. All right. Adios.